Almost 10 years ago, I met a girl named Megan, a typical soccer-playing 10-year-old with a not-so-typical dad. Megan's father is Bill Cowher, and on Sunday afternoons, he would transform from soccer dad to his job as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. At every Steelers home game, the oldest of his 3 daughters would come watch her dad at work and offer plenty of suggestions.
There's nobody on him. We have to look. Yeah, but it could have been like a touchdown.
Talking about the best coach in the stadium, Megan. The best coach in this stadium, Megan. She's got all the right calls right after the fact.
Megan had a lot to say when I sat and talked to her back then, so I decided to catch up with her. 9 years later.
You know, the last time we were here was 9 years ago. What do you think's the biggest change in 9 years?
Well, I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up. And
How intimidating that's going to be for a boyfriend to see, you know, you got to meet my father. Your father's Bill Cowher, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the whole enigma of him is a lot more intimidating than him in person, so I think the build up to the meeting is probably the worst part.
Have they called you yet and say, can I date your daughter yet?
No, they're good. They don't tell me about those things.
No, you don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear it, man.
Mom handled that guy.
Yeah, she's been talking to him about all that
That's
stuff.
good.
Over 9 years, a lot of Megan's interests have changed, including her favorite sport.
The 6'1" sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 20, Cowher.
Megan, number 20, is now a star sophomore on the Princeton University basketball team. Last season, as a freshman, Megan was the Ivy League Rookie of the Year. And back home, her proud father talked about her every chance he could.
Family, how's your daughter doing?
They're doing great. She's up in Princeton.
I know, I remember he's over there.
She's starting basketball. She's awesome. It's awesome. Good job!
During the football season, Bill is not able to see Megan play, but he still follows every game.
We don't miss a game. Even if it's a Tuesday night and we're game planning, I'll take 7 to 9, and I'm in my office on the computer listening to the play-by-play.
Once football season ends, Megan's biggest supporters have a chance to see her in person. And while Bill may be Princeton's most recognizable fan, his wife Kay is the more well-known player in the family. Kay starred at North Carolina State before playing for the New York Stars of the Women's Professional Basketball League. So it's easy to see who Megan takes after on the court.
She's better than I was when I played, and the game has come a long way. So, quite frankly, I might not even score on her if we play today. So.
Growing up in this household with a dad who was one of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL and a mom who played in one of the first professional basketball leagues, there's been that bar that's always kind of been set, whether it's in school or sports. And I mean, we always kind of knew that we were supposed to achieve at a certain level.
But to me, it doesn't seem like there was ever any pressure put on you.
No. That's the thing that's kind of shocking. It wasn't like they were sitting there telling us, like, you have to do this, and you have to achieve a certain level. It's just something that kind of came from within us, and I think something how we were raised.
There's no question. People in this family, we compete. You know, when you're playing a game, whether it's a card game or it's bocce on the beach or, you know, even a little horse game in the driveway, nobody wants to be the first one out, and nobody wants to lose. I mean, I usually play her and beat her, and I actually, just recently, I went down, and it was pretty decidedly, too, because we...
In one-on-one?
One-on-one, yeah.
What was his final score?
6-2, or 7-2, is that what it was?
I quit counting.
But how'd you outboard him? I mean, that must have been kind of tough.
Yeah,
or you must
starting to get a little old. It's a lot faster to run around.
When you watch Megan play, what about her play pleases you the most as a coach?
As a coach, her mindset. She's a very focused player. You walk into a gym, you wouldn't know whether she's already scored 20 points or she's missed her first 20 shots. As much as I probably show my emotion very visibly, she's probably quite the contrast because she holds everything in.
Physical foul, number 20, Cowher.
I sit there and I watch her as more of a father, you know, and a proud father, because I just watch the way she plays and the way she competes and, you know, just the way she carries herself. And I enjoy it. I'm nothing I enjoy more in sports than watching my kids play.
Hey, Bill, was that fun watching that, man?
Oh, I only got to see a couple games. I didn't get to see as much as I like, but she loves it up there.
Yeah.
You know? And I got a senior in high school and a freshman in high school, so.
Bill's other two daughters are Lauren and Lindsay. And 9 years ago, I had a chance to sit down with them too. Lindsay, have you been to a football game?
Once.
Did you like it?
No.
Like their big sister, Lauren and Lindsay have grown up a lot too. Lindsay is a freshman and Lauren, number 15, in the stands.
He came to like all of my tournaments one year, so he'd like find a way to come to even my nationals, which was like very long.
He has a very time-consuming job, and the hours tend to get very long during the season, but I mean, I know he'll rearrange meetings and everything just to make it to our high school games. Like, I don't think he maybe missed one high school game. And I mean, that says a lot because I'm playing and it's during the season too.
As much as Bill has been there for all three of his daughters, they've always been there to support him as well. Whether they're in the stadium in Pittsburgh or on the shores of Hawaii, there always seems to be a Cowher girl close to the action.
We got the flea flicker. It doesn't work, I'm blaming her. That's my daughter, Lauren.
My sister did it a few years before, and she got to call one play, and it was the flea flicker. So it was kind of like competition. I was like, okay, Megan did it this year, and now I'm going to try it, and we'll see who won. And it wasn't the prettiest play, but it was a completion, I think.
It's one thing to help your dad in the fun and sun of the Pro Bowl. It's another to find the words to comfort him when he's just lost the biggest game of his career, as Bill did in Super Bowl 30.
Snap, here comes an outside blitz. The pass is picked up, an open field. Here comes Larry Brown to the 15.
I remember that whenever we were the game was decided and we're on our way down with my mom was like, Megan, like, no, your dad's gonna come over to us afterwards and you're gonna have to say something to him. Like, he's just lost, it's been a tough game, like, you need to say something nice. I remember being like, okay, so I'm on my way down and I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry. We'll see you in the locker room, okay?
Your dad hugs both of you and he says,
Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses.
and you remember what you said?
Mm-hmm. I said, Dad, win or lose, you'll always be my hero.
Dad, win or lose, you'll always be my hero.
Now, Kay, did you tell Megan to say that?
No. And I'm glad I didn't, because I can't imagine that anything else could have been better said than what she said to her father.
Actually, after his biggest disappointments, it's the words Bill offers to his daughters that often mean the most.
Even last year, whenever we lost the championship game again, I remember talking to my dad afterwards on the phone, and I was really upset. And he was the one who said to me, like, hey, you know, it's not, I mean,
This job is one where there's so much ups and downs and there's so much emotion week in and week out. And when I get in the car and I pull into this house, I'm a father, you know, I'm a husband. I mean, I'm not bringing my job home to work. I come home every night, even if it's for only a couple hours. If I'm working late, I want to come home every night.
I think it's been very good for Bill to step away from it a little bit and spend some family time and do some other things, because I think that you can coach for a lot longer if you're able to step away a little bit.
Ironically, Bill's ability to step away has allowed him to stay put for so long. While many coaches burn themselves out with endless nights at the office, Cowher's balance between work and family has helped him maintain his with his current team. Stability like that is almost unheard of in the coaching profession and a rare luxury for a coach's family.
it's been incredible for us just growing up. I mean, just being able to go through school. I went from kindergarten and graduated in the same school district.
Megan Cowher and her sister, Dad, Megan and her father still shoot hoops in the same driveway.
This is a shot.
The last time I was here, you said that your dad was great with junk shots and gadget shots.
Yes, there it is. All right.
Because I played golf with your father, and I know the kind of junk, and I mean, I've seen him make shots, ricochet them off porta potties, parked cars, and woodsheds, and still bogey the hole.
You become more resourceful the older you get, Steve, and that's the case. So I may have lost one-on-one the other day, but when it still comes to horse, as long as I'm in control, I'm going to find a way to win.
And some things won't change over the years.
Over the years, I figured someone had to step up and show the Cowher family how it was done.
All right, how about that? It's right there.
Not bad.
Time marches on, but after 9 years, I found out that not a lot has changed with the Cowhers. Bill is still the coach of one of football's most successful franchises, and his best team is still the one he has at home.